Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's have a look at my JP account after 650 days. And about half of this video, the first half will be looking at my account, the second half will be talking about my recent thoughts on the game as a whole, and then YouTubing. But as usual with my account, my mind is occupied with cost 100 units. And actually, let me ask, is there anyone out there that has played maybe at least half a year that does not have any cost 100 units? And how is that going? I hate them, but I also recognize that they are the future of the game, if not the present as well. They are the best long-term investments, and so although I don't enjoy it, I do kind of force myself to work on them. I know myself as a player, and I know at what speed I want to play, but just the cost 100 units, their price is more than I am willing to work with, and so I force myself to slow build them, which is excruciating, but I'm making it work. And then I don't want to make anybody feel like cost 100 units are necessary, although the developers would love you to think that. Just as a YouTuber, I think it's important for me to at least know them, but it would be better to have them and use them. And then currently I'm working kind of actively on 2 cost 100 units, and then passively on 2. But June here, she was the first cost 100 unit actually that I kind of pulled and built during that initial release period. That was off of a lucky pull from a discount ticket. But here, Oberon, I've been working on him like I worked on Classy Glassy. They had the lower rates when they were released, so I didn't pull, but I waited until I pulled them naturally, and then I started buying shards for them, because their shards are regular price. And then, the 2 ones that I'm working on passively are Gilgamesh here. He's semi-close to Limit Break 5. Never bought his shards, I just got him through random pulls. Through these almost 2 years. And then there's Dwayne here. It took me a long while for me to pull him naturally. It might have been like 3 or 4 months. But him too. I am, doing the hard quests, that kind of thing. He was one that I skipped initially because part of the reason why I want to get and use and show cost 100 units is so I can give kind of global players a preview of what they are. But with Dwayne, he was released in Global first, so I didn't feel the need to go for him. Same thing with Zazan. If and when he comes to JP, I'm not going to really be too inspired to pull him. But yeah, from the release of the game, they've kind of changed how they've been doing the cost 100 units little by little, which is infuriating to me. I wish they would just pick one system and stick with it. But the current way, especially with the Fest, it kind of looks like they're moving the business model a little bit away from building units and kind of focusing more on getting people to pull the Hatcher. I kind of kept a log of this in my community posts, but I built June without doing any shop refreshes for 100 Vision Ore, and then I was able to get her up to pretty much this level without having to refresh the shop too much. She has now a guaranteed appearance in the shop. So even though her pickup period was only 1 week, I was able to get her pretty far. So yeah, that's evidence that the developers are moving away from a business model based on building units and then more towards pulling units. And then that's also where the lower pull rate comes from on these Fest units. This is not to say that the game has gotten cheap. It's still expensive to build the units up to, whatever, 115 or 120. But I guess in the big scheme of things, it's good that these changes have come to cost 100 units before 2nd anniversary. If we were like 5 years ago, it would have taken many, many years to kind of get to that point. And I just spoke about not enjoying working on cost 100 units, but I can manage it. If anything changes, though, for the worse, like it stops being worthwhile, slow building cost 100 units, or they, I don't know, raise the price on shards again, then That might make me question whether I want to stick with the game or not. But actually, at this rate, I am going to have all of the cost 100 units in the game built, except for Jaden. I still haven't pulled him yet, and even if I do pull him, I don't know if I would want to work on him. Again, I'm kind of motivated by showing the cost 100 units to Global, and I don't think I can have him built by the time he is released there. And yeah, I've said this before, but I feel like cost 100 units, they are now the meta-defining units. Cost 90 units are solid. Maybe they can help you with like an elemental team. And then cost 80 units are more role players. And so I feel much less motivation to work on cost 90 units. Like for example, I just got Valrouche here up to Limit Break 5. But I don't really want to take him to EX Jobs. I don't want to commit the resources to that. He's interesting. He's a magic scaled / attacker, and then he has some healing and like full life and stuff. But his range and then his AoE are not very good. So he's going to be difficult to use compared to cost 100 units. I don't know if I'm going to take him to EX Jobs. Actually... Corwell here, he might be a more interesting choice because he's more kind of a support unit. I said cost 80 units were like role players, and then him being a support unit, it won't matter as much what his stats are, so he can like dispel, do breaks and other stuff, so he might be more interesting. And he's semi-close to Limit Break 5 as well. But yeah, if a unit's coming out that's like cost 80 or 90, they have to be pretty special for me to want to work on them. And that might be what it's going to be like going forward with collaboration units. Or again, like a role player like Charlotte, where her damage doesn't matter, her range and AoE doesn't matter, she's more there for tanking. It's common for a Japanese mobile game to go up in price as time goes on. Even Monster Strike, which makes money hand over fist, started pumping out the limited units a couple years ago. But I think the reason why we saw a threatened boycott in JP over the release of Dwayne, which was shocking and how uncommon it was and not easy to copy in Global, was because the game is so expensive to start with, and that was the decision by the developers to go for a business model which gets you kind of coming and going before and after you pull the unit. And so the developers have kind of had to scale back some stuff, and that makes it harder to raise the price further on, like many other games do, because the price was higher to begin with. I feel like it was a gamble by the developers to go for this business model from the start. We'll see if it's sustainable in the long term. If they can get people to keep spending while also feeling like they're getting something for their spending. But like, I'm looking ahead at the upcoming fest. My assumption is that the next 4 or 5 beginning of the month releases are going to be these crystal units, and then they will all be cost 100. They're all going to be in the fest, and it's going to be super hard to pull them, especially for me, who refuses to pull unless it's like a discount. So if I am skipping all of those units, and if I'm skipping all of the 90 cost units that are released in between because they just generally don't appeal to me, I don't know what that's going to do to my motivation, because I'm not going to have any new characters the next few months. I always say, like, you know, make use of what you already have in your account. Let's all be grateful for what a long lifespan all of these characters have. But I hate to admit it, I am susceptible to it too. I'm more excited by new units. And so like getting Barret and Aerith, getting Classy Glassy, and then now getting Jume and Oberon. They're all kind of giving me more inspiration to play the game than like EX jobs for old units like Engelbert or Miranda. Okay, second half of the video. Next, let's talk about YouTubing. Folks might have noticed that my selection quest output has pretty much disappeared. It's some of my favorite content in the game, but the thing is, I feel like I've seen it all. which is not true because I have not gone through and then beaten all of these quests. But like, I've experienced it, you know? I've experienced the heights of the challenge, trying to clear all the quests. I've gotten the thrill of using a bunch of like MR and lower rarity units, which I've never used before. And I've also experienced the depth of taking a lot of characters to EX jobs and using way more materials than I was planning on using. But from a YouTubing point of view, I feel like I've shown and I've taught everything that would enable people to go for these. And so I've covered like the most important points, like you don't have to take all your characters to EX jobs, vision cards and equipment are very important, and then you can like check enemies in battle to see what their weaknesses are to get hints for how to clear stages. And so if I were to make clears for any of these other elements, it would be like really specific tactics for those specific stages, rather than just kind of real top-line stuff, which I'm more interested in. And so my motivation to make videos for these quests drained away, and so that also drained my motivation to play the quests, and so I don't have the characters, and then I can't make reviews for them, so that's why I haven't been making the videos for these guys. But I do want to finish Gargus, because I like him in the story, and then I think he's one of the better characters that you can get here. And then I do want to get Miyu, just because my account is so centered on fire, and then if I can make the videos for this within the next couple months, then that would be in time for Global. And then lately I've been doing a lot of arena showcases, which is some of my favorite content to do. Let's get some rewards here. But there's something else that I've always wanted to do, and that is more mock guild battles. I was considering joining like a higher level guild so that I could have more kind of powerful teams to go against here. But I didn't want the pressure of having to play every day and, you know, having like stakes in there. So I stayed in my Bronze 3 guild. But I was maybe thinking of like, you know, creating defense teams myself and then using my own offense teams against them and then showing those off. That would be cool because I could show off more characters, and I could also show off more maps. But that would be a lot of more work because with Arena I can just make my offense teams and just go fight whoever. But if I wanted to make videos of mock guild battles, I'd have to make a lot of defense teams as well. So that might be like, you know, double or triple the work. You know, I wouldn't want to face the same team, you know, 3-4 times in the same video. I'd want to do like different teams every battle, so I would have to make defense teams for all of those. And another thing is that the way with my work schedule and when the mock guild battles are not available, I can really only do this on the weekends, and I always forget to do it on the weekends. So yeah, that's why I haven't been doing that recently. But yeah, that is the state of my account after 650 days. I feel like lately I have been kind of playing more casually. It's just where my head is at. Probably some people would look at how much I have spent on the game and then think it is a waste to play the game in this way. But I don't think like, you know, however much you've invested like money or time before has any bearing on how you play today or tomorrow. You just have to be true to yourself, to your own feelings in the moment. Not be pressured, you know, by the community or not be pressured by what the developers are putting out. Just got to play for yourself. Okay, I think that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.